In this video, I'm going to show you how to input the Student Managed Investment Fund portfolio holdings. So I'm on the main page of Bloomberg, and to get to the point where you can actually enter the portfolio holdings, first you need to create a portfolio. The way to do that is to use the PRTU function. And here we have it, Portfolio Administration. So here we have some portfolios I've created. This is the one that I'll be showing you in class, but to create a new portfolio, you're just going to click Create, and then name it. So I'll name it SMIF Practice. We'll make the long name the same. You don't have to have a long name. We'll keep these settings the same, and we'll keep everything here the same. Transaction, other, why don't we just say 12/31/2020. And create. Alright, now we've created the portfolio and it's time to add the assets to the portfolio. Now, the assets that you need to add are in this Excel spreadsheet. This is our Trades 8/22/2021 spreadsheet, and we have 4 rebalancing periods. So starting with the end of 2020, these were the securities as of that reporting date. So we have many securities. So what you'll need to do is add each of these securities to the portfolio. And the way to do that is, well, let's start with the SPYUP. Okay, so now we're ready to enter in our portfolio positions. To do this, we're going to use this document, or this Excel spreadsheet that you have in our Canvas site. So we have 4 reporting periods, the end of 2020, the end of Q1 2021, and then 2 other ones. So September 30th and July 31st. What we're going to need to do is make sure we have exactly these positions on exactly these dates. So to get started, we'll do the S&P 500 UP equity. And that first date occurs on 12/31/2020. So we'll change this to 12/31/20. And we'll enter in SPYUP, equity is what we want, and then we enter in the position. So the position is, in this case, the number of shares. So right here we have 700 shares of the S&P 500 ETF, and the price currently is $373.88, and automatically you'll see that fill in right here. So this will be the cost basis for us, or for this particular position. Next, we'll add, well, I suppose we probably should add the cash, which is right here. So this is just free cash that we had in the portfolio, so 2549.65. And then we'll add our next portfolio holding, which was VTI, which is another ETF. So VTI US equity. And we had 600 shares of that. And there we go. And as you hit enter, what you'll see is current principal and then market value over here. Now, some of the securities in our portfolio were not held in the same weights as they are now back in the end of 2020. So what we need to do is, once we've entered in all of these positions, we need to go to the next rebalancing date. And that next date will be 3/31/2021. And what you'll see is most of these positions will stay the same. There's only a few that might change, so I mentioned PepsiCo in class. I believe the Student Managed Investment Fund sold Pepsi shares in May. But what we need to do is once we've entered in all of our positions for 12/31/2020, we need to change our rebalancing date. And we'll change that to 3/31/2021. And make sure you save your work before you go on. You'll often get the option to save it, or the notification to save it. So notice here that our positions are still the same, but if we've made any additions to the portfolio, let's say we've purchased, let's say new shares of AT&T that we didn't have in 12/31/2020, we need to add those shares to the portfolio. And then we'll also obviously need to change the cash. So notice here that at the end of March, we have only $940.75 of cash. So $940.75. And then as you go down, you'll enter in more and more of these observations. Once you're completed, you'll get something that looks like this. So notice here, we have all of our positions entered as of 12/31/2020, 3/31/2021, the end of June, and the end of July. And you should have the same market value for each of these periods. And then finally, if you want to go all the way forward, it'll take you all the way to the current date. Notice here that we have some blanks. These are securities that the fund divested. Now, once you've gotten everything added here, what you can do is you can analyze this portfolio. You can do some portfolio analysis by clicking on the Analyze function. Or if you want, you can also export those holdings. That's actually how I got exactly what you're seeing here. I clicked the Export button under Actions, and it exported those holdings exactly as you see them. If we want to analyze, what we can do is we just click the Analyze button, and it'll take a few seconds to load. But once it loads, we can examine our portfolio's performance, attribution, tracking error relative to a benchmark, holdings, etc., etc. The default is that our student-managed investment fund has no benchmark. It's benchmarked to nothing. The benchmark I mentioned we're going to use in class and for our portfolio is going to be the T. Rowe Price Equity 500 Index. To get that, what you can do is click this drop-down, go to More Sources, and then go down to Funds and just type in the ticker symbol for that. So PREIX. PREIX. I suppose it's going to be this one. Give me an interesting name. Okay. So make that a favorite, select, and now it's added. So these funds, they come with some interesting names that are not the ticker symbols as well. So the ticker symbol of our benchmark is going to be PREIX US. And once you enter that, what you'll see is we have the ability to compare our portfolio's holdings with the holdings of the benchmark portfolio. And this plus minus indicates the weights of our portfolio relative to the benchmark. Next week, we'll compare more advanced portfolio management indicators. We'll look at the attribution of our portfolio, et cetera, et cetera. But this week, the important thing is that you get this portfolio entered in your Bloomberg account. Now, one final thing that you can do if you want to, if I go back to PRTU, you can actually share your portfolio with anyone you want anyone you want to have that portfolio. So let's say I want everyone to have access to the portfolio that I was working on a few seconds ago, or a few minutes ago, that I created just in this video. I can share that and enter the user or the name of the user that I want to have access to that portfolio. So let's say I want another professor in the College of Business to have this. Well, if I type in the name of another professor, I can specify that I want them to be able to either view or update the portfolio. So if I am considerate, I'll let them update the portfolio, and then that way, as if you want to make changes to the portfolio, you can. If you want to allow that person to just view the portfolio, you just click, well, view, and then update. So that's how you do that and share it. So with that being said, I'll bring this video to an end. If you do have any questions, please let me know. We will be using these techniques on Wednesday's class or the next class, so feel free to ask me about them, but I'll walk through these steps again. So thank you very much.